So many roles. Actually, I'll mention Mad Men, I'll mention Chernobyl, I'll mention The Crown, but he's swapping the stage for the screen. He's heading back to the Royal Shakespeare Company for the first time in 35 years, God help us, to play Claudius in a very highly anticipated production of Hamlet. What a pleasure to meet for the first time and to welcome Jared Harris. Hi, Jared.
Thank you for having me.
And welcome. Nice to see you in real life. I'm surprised our paths haven't crossed before now, but here we are.
I'm glad we've managed to pull it off.
We got there. We were just chatting about you haven't been on stage. You haven't done Hamlet or the Royal Shakespeare Company for so long. Are you drawn to this role? Is it you've been there before? But
I'm playing Claudius.
Claudius, I should say, but
yes.
the play.
It is. My wife teases me because it's somewhat of an obsession. Yes.
Yeah. Why?
Honestly, it's sort of part of a conversation that I used to have with my dad a lot, because we used, when in doubt, we used to sit and having a meal or a pint together, and quite often we'd chat about it. But I know it's just a fascinating play. It's a sort of interesting conundrum, that you can sort of end. It's like a sort of beautiful jewel. You can just keep turning it in your mind.
Yes. I know. Can you bring different things to it every time? That's the idea.
Yeah. You
mentioned your father, Richard Harris, of course, was very famous Irish Limerick man.
Sure. Proud Limerick
man. The statue's there now, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
You smile wistfully. I think I know why, but we'll keep going. The statue is there. Do you go to Limerick at all, or do you?
I was doing a TV show. We were shooting Foundation just outside of Limerick.
Were you?
So, I got to spend quite a bit of time there and catch up with all my cousins and everything. And I loved it. It was really, great to walk along the river and imagine my dad and my uncles and their family. This is where they grew up, and these are the streets they grew up in, and kick the ball down the road.
Did you feel a connection, like a kind
of course,
genetic and
kinship? You start to notice sort of certain physical similarities.
Well, I have to say,
you got the forehead and stuff like that. I was going to
say, you have the Harris head in you.
Yeah.
But it's strong and profound. But of course, he would have been into all the stage plays and so forth. So when you're discussing Hamlet with him as a kid or as a younger man, he probably...
Well, he used to describe performances to us. I mean, I remember him talking about Olivier's death scene in Coriolanus, or the Othello that he saw, or the Titus Andronicus, and not just Olivier, but other performers. So,
and could he quote at will?
Yeah, what he'd get up and do? He'd act it out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if you're going to have somebody do it for you, have the old man to do it for you. I was quite intrigued to learn about you, Jared, that you were very shy when you were little, and that crowds might have freaked you out and so forth, and yet suddenly acting of all the jobs.
I think it's quite true of actors.
Yes,
but they are often very shy. And it's a way of getting over shyness. I think if you. I think it's a way of dealing with your introspection, is to sort of force it in the other direction.
Yeah. You said something along the lines of you can be somebody else. So it's not shy Jared Harris on the stage. It's you pretending to be. I love that. You're playing psychological games with yourself doing that, aren't you?
Often. I mean, you do, because you've got to sort of, you have to believe you're in a circumstance that's completely made up, and imagine yourself in it, and you're playing mind games with yourself.
Because did you go to North Carolina to study for a little while? Did you make
I
it that
didn't
far?
go there on purpose to study acting, but I went there really. I felt that I just wanted to get away and sort of start fresh and try and figure out who I was. So I went to Duke University.
And was part of it an escape from your dad's fame? And
I think it's more to do with there's a sort of my family had decided that I was. See, my elder brother, he managed to get himself taken out of school early.
Interestingly put.
And but then my mother said, well, you're not going to get away with not doing your A-levels. So, and I realised, well, there's just no way of getting around this. So I put my head down and studied and passed them on the first go. And so I think they thought, oh, well, he likes studying, so maybe he'll be an academic. So no, I just wanted to get this over with.
But law came into it then as well, didn't it?
I was the middle child, so I was always in arguments. So, I would always fight vociferously for my side of the argument, whatever it was. Something petty when you're a child. but massively important. And they thought, well, maybe he'll be a lawyer because my mother's father was a lawyer.
Yes.
So they just thought maybe it ran in the blood, right? And I didn't really want to do any of those things, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I thought I'd just go somewhere where nobody knew me. No one had opinions about who I was or what I should be. And I could just start over.
Isn't that nice? So that lovely sense of liberation and freshness of thinking and clear, an empty page then,
yes,
really.
Exactly.
And was it a flyer then you saw and said, okay, well, are we going?
You've been doing your research.
Well, I'm just curious. I'm just curious to see, because it's a very interesting road from the shy child to the potential argumentative lawyer.
Sounding like a therapy session.
But no, but you know, that's why you're on a couch. Normally we put guests in a chair.
Well,
so tell me.
Upright couch.
I was going to tell me, Mr. Howard. And then, as I say, the flyer comes along, and I'm expecting a light from the gods to come down and go, no, this is where you're meant to be.
No, I mean, years later, my first sort of big break was playing Andy Warhol, and I shot Andy Warhol, and my first drama teacher and director was at that point, had moved on from teaching and was living in New York and working for ABC. And I invited him to come to the premiere of the movie and walk the red carpet with me because I thought this would be a good story. He was my first person who cast me. And a journalist or someone on the carpet sort of asked him the obvious question and went, well, so you must be very proud. Or yes, I'm really proud. Because here you are seeing his name up in lights and everything. Could you ever imagine it? No. He says, well, you must have seen something special in him when you saw him all those years ago and cast him in his first play. He said, no, I didn't see anything special in him. I was doing a Agatha Christie play and I needed someone to keep an eye on the accents for me.
Are you a Kindle or a hard copy book man? We're just on books.
Hard copy. Definitely hard copy.
I love that.
I collect first editions as well.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
And where do you eke them out?
There's a couple of really good first edition books. There's one great one in Los Angeles called Mystery Pier. And there's ones here. There's ones on Cecil Court. I'd go there.
Cecil Court is a beaut. I mean, that's a dream street, isn't it? That's like Harry Potter job.
Well, there is actually one of them is almost dedicated
to Potter.
To Potter World.
And there's I think about the kids one on all the Roald Dahls and the Edith Blytons and the Billy Bunters and all that. That's great stuff. And what sort of are your proudest own?
Well, I mean,
what one do you look at and go, oh, I'm so glad I have that?
I mean, there's a couple of Beckett's, Joyce.
Oh, correct.
And then I like if the stuff that I work on that's from an original source material.
Yes.
I will go and buy those ones. Like when we did this thing called To the Ends of the Earth. Which is William Golding novels. I went and bought those ones, So, and then I did the Benjamin Button. I went and bought, Tales from the Jazz Age.
Lovely. So you bought the originals and first editions. Yeah. What a lovely, because you're a man after my own heart. Some people go fishing, some people go to watch the football. That is a lovely way to spend an afternoon. Seeking them out. Talk to me about the back catalogue. I mean, you jumped into my consciousness in Mad Men, which you were just so splendid in. I mean, how was that for you? Did you enjoy that experience or?
I loved it. I mean, I spent 3 seasons on it. It was like being... You used to hear these stories of these wonderful sort of theatre companies like the New Group or the Theatre Workshop or, the Moscow Arts. And it was kind of like that. It was this incredible theatre company, but for actors, for screen acting, And by the time I joined, it was 3rd season. It was not just a huge hit and a critical hit, but it had entered the sort of the public consciousness as well, and was changing the way that people dressed and the way that men dressed, particularly. Sort of reintroduced cocktail culture. And it was a big deal if you said you were working on Mad Men. People's eyes would light up, and the actors were phenomenal. I directed an episode, and then before that I had to shadow a director to learn what I was going to be required to do. And one of the things I remember taking away from it was you could look at the John Hamm's reaction shot when you're in a scene, and you single him out, as they'd single everybody out. And from just watching the single on him, you could see the whole story of the scene.
Wow.
and he had, you know, he was living, he was experiencing it, he was telling his version of the story. And Elizabeth Moss was the same way. You know, you could watch what they were doing and you could understand what the whole story of the scene was from what they did.
We have to go, but I wanted to congratulate you on Chernobyl, of course, which you were so remarkable in, and everyone said The Terror, The Crown.
Yeah, The Terror is a special one.
I thought The Terror was great because as a guy who kind of watches the Shackleton story closely, and I thought The Terror brought it all.
I was surprised that one wasn't sort of taken up more in Ireland, given that you know, it's about Crozier as an Irish character who was sort of bumping up against the glass ceiling at that time of what was achievable in a career for an Irishman.
Completely, and Tom Crean had done
culture,
something.
And English culture,
absolutely. But it was a stunning piece of television, a very interesting piece of television too. So next, I'm mentioning your course here with the Royal Shakespeare Company, or rsc.org.uk for tickets. You will be on stage as Claudius in Hamlet.
Luke Dallon playing Hamlet, directed by Rupert Gould. Yeah.
So you're not messing.
Great talent there.
You're not dealing with muck here, as you say.
No,
Saturday the 8th
Nancy
of February.
Carroll, Elliot Levy. I'm just
keep going. Who's doing makeup? Who's doing hair? It goes on. It runs till the 29th of March. I hope to get along to see it, and that's coming.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Good luck with it, Jared.
Thank you.
And thanks for being with. What a pleasure. We'll do it again sometime.
I would love to.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right.